Well, there was no shortage of fireworks in the one and only debate between the US vice presidential candidates. Incumbent Joe Biden and challenger Paul Ryan faced off in a 90-minute showdown that ranged from US troops in Afghanistan to last month's attack in Libya to their shared Catholic faith.
How you doing?
A Snap CNN poll of people who watched the debate shows things were pretty even. 48% of respondents said Republican Paul Ryan was the winner. 44% said Democrat Joe Biden won. But with a margin of error, the poll is a statistical tie.
How you doing?
Joe Biden and Paul Ryan had barely sat down before the fists started flying.
It's incredible. With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey.
Opposition.
Oh, God.
Joe Biden had to come out swinging because his presidential running mate last week didn't. Paul Ryan was on the offensive too, attacking the Obama administration on Iran.
You think Iran's not brazen? Look at what they're doing. They're stepping up their terrorist attacks.
All this loose talk about them, all they have to do is get to enrich uranium in a certain amount, and they have a weapon. Not true.
The vice president knows Republicans are catching up in the polls. His job was to rattle his rival, and at times seemed to be succeeding.
Mr. Vice President, I know, Mr. Vice President, I know you're under a lot of duress to make up for lost ground. But I think people would be better served if we don't keep interrupting each other.
Well, don't take all the 4 minutes then.
We're not.
Joe Biden will be criticized for too much of this, smirking, smiling and laughing. But he gave the passionate performance supporters had wanted from Barack Obama last week.
It was Biden's debate to lose after an underwhelming performance from President Barack Obama last week, and he took every opportunity to knock his much younger opponent down.
You can cut tax rates by 20% and still preserve these important preferences for middle-class taxpayers.
Not mathematically possible.
It is mathematically possible. It's been done before. It's precisely what we're proposing.
It has never been done before.
It's been done a couple of times, actually.
It has never been
Jack
done
Kennedy
before.
lowered tax rates, increased growth. Ronald Reagan.
Now you're Jack Kennedy.
Ronald Reagan.
The put-down had echoes of the 1988 vice presidential debate between Lloyd Bentsen and Dan Quayle.
Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
Initial reactions to the performance of both this year's nominees gave Biden the edge, although Republicans were quick to criticize the vice president's frequent smirks and his tendency to laugh condescendingly at what Ryan was saying. Meanwhile, his contender held his own, making his strongest points towards the beginning of the debates, particularly on the Libyan U.S. embassy attacks in Benghazi last month, in which 4 U.S. citizens died.
They began with Libya and the attack on a U.S. consulate that killed America's ambassador.
It took the president 2 weeks to acknowledge that this was a terrorist attack. What we are watching on our TV screens is the unraveling of the Obama foreign policy.
With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey.
And why is that so?
Because not a single thing he said is accurate.
This was a combative Joe Biden,
This president doesn't bluff.
looking to make amends for his boss's poor performance last week. On Iran, he accused Republicans of loose talk.
Let's all calm down a little bit here. Iran is more isolated today than when we took office. It was on the ascendancy when we took office. It is totally isolated.
Well, Paul Ryan says being in Congress for 14 years has given him more experience on foreign policy than Barack Obama had when he took office. He says Obama's response to events in the Middle East has made the U.S. look weak in the eyes of the world. He also supports boosting defense spending by more than $200 billion over the next 10 years. As a congressman, he's voted to cut funding to the UN and sanction UN members that support Palestinian statehood. Joe Biden has played a key role in promoting the president's foreign policy agenda. He helped orchestrate the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Iraq and is now working to do the same in Afghanistan. He also took a lead role in securing a new START treaty with Russia. The 2010 arms reduction deal has been hailed by Obama as the most important achievement of the last 20 years.